guys that have been old their entire lives.
Are we back up?
Yeah, we're back up. I don't know what the fuck happened.
All right.
Yeah, so we just recorded for probably about 20 minutes, and it just stopped partially. So, what are we drinking, Dan?
Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest? All right, we'll go one for the...
Hey.
Got it.
But did it not get anything?
I don't know what... Well, no, because I had to delete it because it's... it stopped. The time said it stopped at 9 minutes and 27 seconds.
Oh, no.
So,
Well, cheers.
I don't know what it stopped for. I don't know if maybe something here got...
You just want to try to redo what we did?
fucking bumped.
Yeah, we can get back on top.
We can do it.
All right.
Cheers.
All right.
Salute,
All right,
guys.
cheers, boys. Nice. Tastes like a fire.
That's good. Kind of like cinnamon.
No, this is... Yeah, excuse me if I sort of giggle a little bit. We're having to re-record due to some technical difficulties. But anyway, this really, really good whiskey, I was actually put onto it by my father-in-law, so shout out to him once again.
It's a bro.
Yeah, so we're drinking the we're drinking the Uncle Nearest 1884. Now I'm going to read the back of the bottle. It's really cool.
So it's reading the ingredients. Corn.
Government warning. All right. Uncle Nearest 1884 continues the remarkable legacy of Tennessee distilling legend Nearest Green, the first known African-American master distiller. Each small batch is curated by his great-great-granddaughter, Whiskey Magazine's 2021 Master Blender of the Year, Victoria Edie Butler. Utilizing the process of maple charcoal mellowing that Nearest helped perfect over 160 years ago, 1884 delivers a whiskey that is as smooth as it is complex. So yeah, Nearest was a former slave and taught Jack Daniels how to distill.
It's cool.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably shouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
That's not why we're laughing.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's That's not funny at all. Just for the record.
No.
Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on in politics this week. We had the longest not State of the Union address to Congress. We had Zelensky and Trump getting a little spat in the White House. We have the Faith Office coming online. We have possibly the Department of Education getting taken offline. Yeah. What other batshit stuff? We had some executive orders on the Gulf of America map. They fucked up the state line between Alabama and Florida. We stopped tariffs that were supposed to start, but then we stopped them. But then Canada's going to shut the power off to somewhere up north.
Yeah, Minnesota, Michigan.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, so a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What about the Faith Office, Dan?
So if there's one thing that I learned this week...
What's your hot take?
All right, here's my hot take.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's I guess apparently God is a staunch Republican.
Is he now?
Yeah. Word for word, bar for bar.
Nice.
Trump said, God saved him to make America great again. So...
But did he, though?
I don't know. That's just I don't know. That's what the man said.
The word on the street is.
Kind of going to leading into his new director of the Faith Office, or is Paula White. Paula White is one of those prosperity gospel televangelist, multi-millionaire, private plane, $20 million condo in New York and Trump Tower.
Sure.
So the history goes back a little bit with her and Trump from the days of The Apprentice, where she, I guess, guided him spiritually. What that means, I don't know. But she did serve as like a senior faith advisor during his first term in office.
Yeah.
And then now she's actually leading the that faith office. But she's credited, apparently, with converting Trump to Christianity.
Was he Jewish?
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what's going on. So she's, the holier than thou. I have these blessings because I've prayed more than you. That's not to bash anybody who's religious. It's just these few bad apples, unfortunately, that
make it weird.
Yeah, make it weird and give religion a bad name.
But does that mean if we lease a piece of property in Trump Tower that Trump would give us a job?
Oh,
And would you do it? $20 million, but in the long run, it would pay it off, and then
I don't know.
you're getting.
Well, this condo is from years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well,
That's freaking Vice City fucking
she's
20
old.
million.
yeah. So yeah,
Vice City.
kind of go now. Let's keep going down the list with her. During her sermons, she speaks in tongues.
Like Harry Potter.
Yeah. She claims that wherever she is, God is. So where she walks, God walks. So when she walked on White House property, God was on White House property. Therefore, quote, making the White House a holy site, end quote.
So did it make it safe enough when that guy impaled himself on the fence trying to get in?
Apparently not.
And then the Secret Service
Well, he should have
rolls
prayed
up
harder.
in an unmarked minivan
It's rough.
and just fucking took him out.
We're all feeling it.
Yeah. But he's feeling it the worst.
Oh,
probably.
yeah, because he's.
Yeah. They fucked him, dude.
Yeah,
Not a
that's
great day.
That's Paula White. Kind of gives you the Kenneth Copeland vibes.
Yeah, he's a weird one. He's a weird apple.
Yeah.
He looks like he's dead. And he doesn't fly in public planes because they're tubes filled with the devil people.
Yep, that's what he says. The devils.
And he got a really good deal on the plane. Really good deal. Too big of a deal to pass up.
Yeah, God was just telling him to buy that plane,
Yeah.
and it was too good of a deal to pass up. Anybody would do it.
No doubt. Even the pilot. What do you think? I'm curious if he blesses the pilot.
Oh, I thought you meant that he buy the pilot.
Well,
He
probably
probably
the plane, right?
he probably pays the pilot minimum wage, but then prays for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's still a devil.
Yeah. The pilot probably pays him.
Oh.
He's like, I'll be safe. I mean, you got it now, dude. Friggin' getting in a plane now. Yeesh.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
good.
Nobody's
Not
safe.
good.
Not a
Don't wanna
good year
do
to
it.
fly.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Horrible year to fly.
I'll fly when the planes decide to stop crashing.
Yeah, I'm actually flying to California next
I'll
week.
beat you there.
We'll see.
I'm out there next week. So.
Oh, nice.
I'm out there in a month.
Hey, there we go.
That's great.
We'll be in the same area. I'll be having more fun than you are.
Yeah, you will be.
I guarantee you that. But yeah, so one of the other big things that I wanted to get at with you guys and not try to spoil it too much, at work or whatever, the Zelensky-Trump meeting
Oh, yeah.
where
Ooh.
they were going to sign that mineral deal, and apparently they spoke for a little bit, and then they went into the main room in the White House. They had interviewers there, and apparently when Zelensky was making his case as to why they need this funding and whatever, J.D. Vance decided to show up for whatever reason, sitting on his own couch, fucking oddly enough, and then was basically berating him for litigating stuff to the U.S. media when they brought him into a room with the U.S. media. And then Trump was, spitting some one-liners at him. Zelensky's looking like it's the fucking episode of The Office, dude. He's just looking at the fucking camera, are you seeing this shit? Not great. No. He got kicked out of the White House and immediately flew to Europe, where he met with a bunch of different leaders to, try and get some funding from them. And there was stuff with the UK trying to put troops on the ground, which I don't know the
not
operational troops. Legality. They said boots on the ground.
Well,
the Prime Minister said we will put boots on the ground.
Well, the UK and Switzerland are willing
right.
to put troops in Ukraine.
And
right.
Macron has also said that they are willing to respond with ICBMs if Russia uses ICBMs, which is another really bold statement. I
don't think Russia would use ICBMs.
No.
They
don't have an army anymore. They're using North Koreans.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's also the real large portion of the strategic strategy. Putin says, yes, he'll be willing to use nuclear weapons, but his general staff knows better, and they will caution, and his advisors will also caution Putin. This is probably a bad idea. And, I don't think nuclear weapons would ever be used.
No. I don't see it. I don't see anything going to that escalation.
They'll try to scare us, like North Korea.
Yeah, there's going to be, tensions and rising tensions, but I don't really see a war using nuclear warheads.
No, not at all.
There's too much to lose on both sides.
Also, there's plenty of conventional bombs that are just as messy as a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We had, was a couple years ago, Russia used a carrier missile on an apartment complex and, killed 80 people.
You want to know off topic who just used something on an apartment complex? The South Korean military.
Yeah.
In a training exercise, accidentally bombed with seven or 8 500-pound JDAMs from their version of the F-16.
So only one actually fell outside of the coordinates that they were given.
Yeah. They said they got the wrong coordinates in, which I don't...
A 500-pound bomb is messy.
From my very basic understanding of how that system works, I don't know how the fuck you do that. I really don't. Because it shows up on a screen. And then when you go to drop it, there's a little Q marker, and if you're not in the right spot, it's going to be all the way off to the other side of the HUD. So,
yeah, somewhere someone
interesting debrief going to happen there.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, these aren't free fall bombs. These are guided bombs. So I mean, like, someone messed up a number in the grid.
Yeah,
really bad.
Yeah. I mean, fortunately, nobody was killed. It sounded like 14 people were injured. That was pretty much the end of it.
Yeah, I don't see how that would work.
I mean, also, talking about North Korea, the South Korean court has ordered the release of the former president.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you guys saw
I did not see that.
So President Yoon, who declared martial law in South Korea when it was ousted. When he was arrested, the court, I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure today they ordered the release of him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Who's in his spot?
That's what I'm trying to figure out too. I don't know how their system works. I don't know if they have like a vice president or if someone else outside of the secondary command to the president there. But for South Korea, it had to be some interim. I don't know. Get picked up. Yeah, kind of distracted me there for a minute.
You're barely getting picked up. So
no,
fucking garbage truck.
I'll speak louder then.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah,
kind of an odd situation over there that they're dealing with that.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gonna go.
In that address to Congress.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Something else that I thought was a little fishy was how much law enforcement was being praised, yet all of the people from January 6th
killed law enforcement
that assaulted law enforcement. It's right about 180 law enforcement officers were assaulted.
Well, some of those people that got pardoned already got shot by the police because they
were back in jail.
Dumb shit or are back in jail.
But I just think that's odd. So you have somebody who's up there praising law enforcement, saying how we have to protect law enforcement, and he pardons everybody who just assaulted law enfortement.
For him, it's not great.
I thought that was odd.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing was kind of odd.
Because he had a guest. What was it? There was a kid there that was accepted to West Point, whose father was killed. He was killed in the line of duty, police officer. I was hearing anything about that.
Maybe the NYPD guy.
I think so.
Or no, I think it was something with. I think it was a federal agent. I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember.
I think I turned it off before that.
I watched the whole thing, but no, I remember the West Point guy.
Okay.
Which I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's
pretty dope.
Yeah.
Get some favoritism in the academy.
Yeah, he
gets something. I don't know.
I think he might be bullied.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's gonna be a rough first summer.
Got a bunch of DEI people in the alley. It's like, hey kid, come on over here real quick.
Hey kid, you got any DEI? Yeah. And then we saw today, DOD is scrubbing images and stuff from all the websites. If you've seen any DOD webpage or Facebook page or Instagram or whatever, put up a thing being like, we're removing content to meet with whatever executive order for the DEI shit. They scrubbed pictures of the Enola Gay because of DEI.
What?
Because
it says gay.
Yeah.
All right.
We both saw the same thing.
And it was on Not the Onion on Reddit, subreddit Not the Onion, and they got rid of it. Our beautiful Enola Gay.
Well, back in the 40s, it meant happy.
Yeah.
I don't know what Enola means, but
the name.
Yeah.
The one guy's mom.
The happy Enola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enola Happy.
Oh yeah.
And then it just dropped 2 fucking bombs at level city, dude.
Yeah. So I thought that was
yeah.
Yeah, because
it's all AI they're using.
Oh,
because they They're at right now, I think, like 26,000 items have been removed, and they're expecting around 100,000. But
That seems
if
like a waste
AI
of
is going to
time.
remove names of things, what are you doing?
Seems like a waste of time and money, if you
Yeah.
ask me.
Doesn't seem very efficient.
No.
You know what also doesn't seem efficient? Trump keeps touting how much it costs to move signing those tariff things to April 2nd. So it wasn't on April 1st. And he's like, costs a lot of money. I don't know how much, but can't have it be April Fools. I know how these people work. Crooked FBI, Democrats. They're all crooked. They're the worst. I should know.
So
8 years.
after the speech, they were talking about the reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
Right? And lifting tariffs?
So their concept of a plan with reciprocal tariffs is Mexico charges us 40% on whatever. I don't know if that's true. Probably not. If they charge us 40% on that, we charge them 40%. If they up it to 50, we up it to 50. If they drop it to 20, we go to 20. Basically, we're just tariffing people on what they tariff us. The problem is he keeps pushing the deadline back for when we're going to actually start these tariffs, and all the other countries are like, fuck you, we're just tariffing you shit.
Right.
So like right now for Canada, they got rid of all like bourbon and everything from all like the BCOs or whatever they call it, which now like they can't get bourbon because if you want actual bourbon, it's only made in the U.S. So there's a lot of people there that are fucking pissed.
It's funny because one of the first things that my Canadian family wants to buy when they come visit us in the U.S. is alcohol.
They're going to smuggle it?
At Costco.
They're going to smuggle it across the border? Huh? Smuggle an illegal item?
Not in my United States.
Yeah, not in
guess
my
so.
Canada.
Yeah, I'm going to stop them. I'm going to be an American hero.
Yeah. You know what? You should post up at the border when they come through and be like, what are you going to search your shit? Yeah.
You know, I really wish that there was a period in American history that had reciprocal tariffs, blanket tariffs. Wait, there was. And it was the Smoot-Hawley era. It was the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. I can't say this enough times on our podcast.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was pretty much... didn't cause the Great Depression, but it
Helped.
Yeah, it definitely didn't. Yeah, there was another podcast I was listening to, and the analogy they used was it didn't cause it, but it did the equivalent of throwing somebody in the water a brick to help them out.
Well, it's kind of sad too when China's starting to make a little bit more sense. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the foreign minister basically say that we're two-faced for creating these tariffs. And because they understand that Trump is using the tariffs to leverage.
They don't like that Taiwan's setting up a thing here.
Of course.
They don't like it.
Of course. But then.
What a power move, though, dude. That chip company.
Yeah.
That's investing,
It's
150
It's
billion?
them. So Apple's doing $500 billion, and someone else now is doing $100 billion or $150 billion.
So do you guys know about Trump reversing the CHIP Act?
Yes. It's like one of the first things he did.
So why?
Because Biden did it. Can't have anything from that administration. If I had to guess.
The idea, though, so what
was the CHIP Act?
So that's what I'm trying to. It was an investment into semiconductors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So the U.S. would put over the next however many decade or whatever X amount of dollars into the production of semiconductors.
Okay.
But the thing is that something that people don't understand is that it takes a long time to fabricate a semiconductor.
Not even the semiconductor, the equipment to build the semi. So like if you look at, they have like those like weird like zoom in videos that you'll see on like TikTok or whatever. When they zoom into a semiconductor, if you look at what like a regular chip looks like a back of like a motherboard or whatever, there's all those like lines and stuff on it. A semiconductor is just that in one of those lines, and then it just keeps fucking going until it's like microscopic.
Yeah.
So like the equipment that's required to build these things takes fucking years
Yes.
to put together.
During COVID,
Everything has to be perfectly clean.
Yep.
No dust, no nothing.
During COVID, we had to shut a lot of these places down, like even like oil refineries. And when the quarantine ended, we had to start everything back up, and it takes a long time to also start everything back up. We're actually now with oil refineries are finally being able to process and refine a lot of fuel properly now. because they were shut down, and it just takes that much time to start them back up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like
you got to clean everything out.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking shit. There's no maintenance on it. And
No.
certain things need to be used. If they don't get used, they kind of just like bind up.
Right.
So,
and then the idea behind the CHIP Act was that we wouldn't have to be so reliant on a country like Taiwan, and I think it was IBM. They invested
But we're still going to sort of be relying on Taiwan because it's still the Taiwanese company that's building that. So if anything, it's just increasing ties with Taiwan.
I'm wondering.
Which I think is
I
pretty
wonder
great.
if he's planning to do the old switcheroo, and then they invest money and build stuff, and then we kick them out.
Oh,
And like, what are you going to do?
yeah, I
Take
don't
your
know.
fucking plant with you?
Yeah, that's scary because I feel like that's kind of like that ground that China is not invading Taiwan is because they are still somewhat reliant on Taiwan themselves because of the semiconductors.
Yeah, they can't
The
just
whole
bomb the
world
shit
is-
out of it.
Yeah. So they have to be graceful about a lot of this stuff. But once semiconductors become big in China and the United States, why do we need Taiwan?
Well, I'm even curious because they're starting those other tariffs at April 2nd, and that's going to be a lot of auto manufacturers. He gave them a 1-month extension, but that's going to be all those auto manufacturers. And you know what? Just because your car is made in the U.S., those parts aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Those parts are not fucking made in the U.S.
Yeah. So how does the tariff affect that then?
That's going to be, if it's 25%, it's going to be 25% on all the imported parts, meaning the cost of the car is going up at minimum 25%, and that's sticker price.
Yeah.
And then you go to the dealer and they fuck you in the ass over the sticker price.
Yeah, I saw an article a while back when Trump was first starting to talk about these tariffs with Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
And it was averaging that the price of cars was increased, I believe, between $4,000 and $8,000.
We bought my wife's
that's
car.
the average. So
My wife's car, and the cost of it, they were trying to get us to like the original car we were looking at. And the guy was like, yeah, if you put down $25,000, your payment will be $1,200 a month. Like, we can get you down to $1,200 a month.
Oh, my God.
And I was like, dude, if I'm putting $25,000 on something and I'm paying $1,200 a month, it's not going to be a fucking Toyota.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, don't tell me that you can't get, because the whole gig was they were trying to get us to buy a car that was on the lot then. They're like, we can't get another one.
Okay.
I'm like, you 100% can.
Yeah.
So after hassling around with them for a while, we went with a different car, but it's still after, they do the regular payment, insurance and all that, title, registration, other packages and shit. It's like fucking $70,000 for a fucking car.
Jesus Christ.
So then by the time your down payment's done, I think our like balance after our down payment was like $47,000.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Which when I bought my Tacoma in 2018, I put down $15,000 and the remaining value on it was only, I think, like $34,000 or $35,000 at a lower percentage. So like, it's really not a good time to end up purchasing anything.
No.
At all.
And especially with, like dealerships, like auto manufacturers, and it's the dealers. So like, I love Toyota. Like
The cars are great.
They're fantastic cars.
They're kind of scummy.
So like, I remember watching when they were advertising the Land Cruiser coming back, and they said before it was released and before it could be purchased was that it was going to be MSRP between $50,000 to $55,000. There were tons of people that were talking about these markups at dealers, and they were like, yeah, they're anywhere between $12,000 to $20,000 markups. So it's not even like the actual, manufacturer that's pricing these things. It's a dealership. They're, like you said, they're scummy. And like, it's only going to get worse because Toyotas used to be cheap cars.
Yep.
They used to be the cheap cars you could go out and buy and like not feel
it
like
was
you're
all
taking
those
risks.
Japanese cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a thing, if you ever go to a car dealership and they're really pushing you to get a car that's been there for a while, you can look and see how long that car has been on the lot. Every day that a car sits on that lot, the dealership has to pay for that space.
Yep.
So if they're pushing like, oh no, we can get you, because that was one of the things they were like, the guy was trying to, talk to me. She was looking at the car and he's like, I know this isn't the color that she wants, but like, you guys can just like, after you get it, you can just take it somewhere and get it painted. And I'm like, bro, I'm not buying a car from you to then take it somewhere to get it fucking painted. You can either paint it before we buy it or find me one that is the color we want.
Who falls for that though?
There's plenty of people that get there and they're in the mindset of getting a car and they show them it's 95% of what I want. I can deal with the color. I can get it painted later, whatever. they're just trying to push shit out the fucking door, dude.
It's psychological. Like those
you have to go in
salesmen-
there, and the same thing like what we were talking about before with other individuals is to not treat them like fucking human beings.
Oh, that's TSA because they're not human.
Yeah.
Oh, you missed the
You
conversation
missed it.
earlier.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm a pretty nice person. My wife is also a very nice person. Anyway, so I will never inherently like treat somebody with disrespect. I always give somebody the respect that they earn up front. With that being said, those are for people. Respect is for people. And TSA, they're not people. So something that aggravates me when me and my wife fly is we'll go through the airport security and you have TSA yelling at us, being rude, and my wife will just be like, oh, I'm sorry. All right, here, I'll put my shoes over here. And then I have to look at her and I say, don't treat them nicely. They're not people.
Except for the TSA agents at the Reno, Nevada airport. They are the most pleasurable people I have ever had the chance of interacting with.
Don't get me wrong. If a TSA employee actually shows me kindness, okay, yeah, then I'm going to actually be like that. But if they're just the typical TSA employee like they showed on Family Guy.
Oh, yeah.
Granted, I'm used to flying Newark, JFK, LaGuardia.
Oh, yeah.
Not known for people being very nice or having time for anything.
This must be why Paula White flies private.
I get it now.
You know what? Yeah, it probably is.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't had
I
haven't had too many bad experiences, but my sister did, and it's a crazy story. But to keep it short, she has a small dog, like a miniature pinscher, and they put her in a kennel, and the TSA agents told them to take it through the freaking X-ray machine,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "That doesn't sound safe. How about we take the dog out and you run the kennel?" And they're like, "Absolutely not. Put the dog back inside." And they put the dog in, and they were frying it underneath this X-ray, and they stopped it and to literally get a group of TSA agents to come over and laugh at it because the dog was like scurrying all over the place and was freaking out.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's fucking
And I
scary.
told her at that point she probably should have gotten a lawyer and sued because
Yeah.
you can sue for just about it.
Did I ever tell you when I got stopped by the dog in the airport?
No.
So I used to, when I would go shooting, I'd bring like a backpack and I'd put everything in it.
Mhm.
And for those of you who don't know, when you shoot, gunpowder goes everywhere. And they bring the dog around that's for, well, gunpowder. And they freaking stop in front of me. So they say, hey, come over to this room with us. So you go in there and, dude, they're not letting up on it. They're like, what's in the bag? And I'm like, a fucking laptop, And they're like, well, the dog alerted that there's like, explosive, explosive propellant
Oh,
on the bag. So like, it's kind of like, dude, fuck, man. And this is when I'm flying. I think I was flying like back to Alaska from New Jersey, right? So I'm like a day and a half into this shit. And they're like, yeah, we need to check the bag. So I'm like, all right, if I can go through it. They go through it. There's nothing. They're like, are there any like secret pockets in this bag where anything could be hit? I'm like, no, dude, it's a fucking Under Armour backpack. I took it shooting with me. There's nothing in there from shooting, but like, yeah, there's fucking gunpowder all over the bag. If you swab it for gunpowder, it's gonna show up that there's gunpowder.
yeah.
The bag won't blow up. Dude, it was like a half-hour fucking ordeal with them. Like, oh, I gotta call my supervisor, and like, dude, they're all on the fucking explosive propellant. Hey, yeah, Sarge, we got a bag here with explosive repellent in it. We can't find it though, and the guy, he's saying he doesn't know why it's. I'm like, no, I didn't say I don't know why. I know why. I told you why.
Yeah.
But there's nothing in the bag. It's just a fucking backpack. And it went on for like a half hour, and they're like, all right, yeah, we'll mark you clear to the gate.
Oh,
I'm like, all right, hopefully I can catch my fucking flight now.
See, I was kind of hoping the dog was gonna be an asshole and just kind of like talk shit.
Dude, I'd rather the dog fucking
just being, because we're talking about like how TSA treats us terribly, and I'm just like,
oh, the
this
dog fucking
yeah.
gets in there, and
This
it's
dog
like,
has a
yeah, you
TSA
guys
personality.
fucking sucks, dude. Dude, I'd rather the dog fucking pee on me, dude. That'd be way more enjoyable.
okay, R. Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh,
Get some fucking baby lotion in there. Dude,
Oh.
what would happen if I went to the TSA with just a backpack full of fucking baby oil? Just
And condoms.
fucking, yeah, and condoms. That's it.
Dude, just slide.
And they just
to
like
the gate.
search your bag, and you just stare at the plexiglass.
isn't
Like,
that
right
like,
at 'em.
isn't it like one of the things now? It's like to get like the most like unusual purchase at like Walmart or like Target.
I love
and,
when
like,
people
just-
put
Yeah,
like a
I've seen
fucking
stuff like
they
that.
put like a
Yeah.
dildo in someone's suitcase.
Yeah.
They search it and they open it up, and like there's the one where that older lady, they put one in her suitcase, and the guy from TSA, he spins the bag around, he opens it up, and he just like looks at her and like holds this fucking dildo up, and she's so embarrassed.
Why would they do that? Like, it's like even if that old lady did pack that.
Well, because it was very
just
obvious.
keep it in the bag.
It was very obvious when they opened the bag and like the suitcase, she didn't know it was in there.
Well,
Like very obvious that
But then,
someone
like-
was, because they're fucking filming you at TSA opening this fucking thing, dude. Like,
dude,
obviously they know that there's something in the fucking bag. So you open it up and there's a big fucking black cock just laying on the front, just laying on there, dude.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
this is a family
Yeah, that
show.
one's not going on TikTok.
dude, can we promote that? It's not political.
Yeah,
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, fun fact: you
Depends
can't
what way you lean.
promote anything on TikTok that's political.
Oh, so our whole show.
Not the whole show. We had some stuff that I was able to promote, but yeah,
Oh, it's a political twist.
yeah.
I mean, even this, dude, freaking slave. That's a whole.
Well, it's
whole thing.
origins. Yeah, like the person who made
It
it.
really is. It is cool historical origins.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them do.
wish I was cool.
I don't know.
I mean, sure.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Andy.
So there is something I am kind of curious about. So back to politics. So one of the biggest things that Congress has been talking about was getting a vote on these layoffs and basically trying to supersede DOGE's movements and like their plans for a lot of employees. So Trump even came out this week saying that you're in charge. Elon Musk isn't the final say. So why wasn't that known earlier? And why hasn't Congress actually tried to do anything and tried to take a vote?
They probably
on
didn't want to go
those
against
decisions?
Trump.
Of course not.
So to that, I don't know if this will really answer your question,
No,
but I did see an article that talked about and questioned the actual authority that Elon Musk has, because there's a clause somewhere for high level authorities within the government. It's called a confirmation clause.
Mhm.
So heads of department have to go up to a Senate hearing and be confirmed. There's a vote,
Right.
and we know the process.
And Elon Musk didn't go through that.
Exactly. So, and that's the thing is, should somebody who is wielding this much power within the U.S. government,
Is wielding the power of Congress.
is it okay to just have them be labeled as a quote unquote senior advisor, or do they need to go up to a Senate hearing committee and be
They have to do
confirmed?
the hearing. They have
Right.
to do the hearing.
Because, one
So,
of the
yeah.
biggest things right now is like, they're talking about expelling 80,000 employees from the Veteran Affairs.
Yeah.
And my biggest thing was like, this can't be, it probably is, but Elon Musk going to President Trump and saying, I want to lay off 80,000 people from the Veteran Affairs office. And Trump saying, okay. And I just don't see the Constitution coming in and like the checks and balances taking effect right now. And like, government, people literally voted into office doing their jobs right now.
look at how he's skirted around even the tariffs.
Sure.
Because like a president can only do tariffs if it's like a national emergency issue. So when you say, oh, Canada had, whatever it was, 80 kilograms of fucking drugs come across the border, it's an emergency. Now you can put tariffs on.
Well, so that's going back to Smoot-Hawley. The power of enacting tariffs was in Congress. And after Smoot-Hawley, because it was and I can't emphasize this enough, such a disaster, that Congress said, wow, we can't be trusted with this level of authority. We're going to hand it off to the president. So only the president could sign off on tariffs. So I don't know, like, what you were saying, like it's an emergency.
So it's like tariffs, because it goes into like funding and supply chain stuff, goes with Congress. Like if you are just going to be like, hey, we're going to put a tariff on fucking Spain, right? Has to go through Congress. If there's something where, hey, this country is a national security issue, so usually would normally be China, Russia, North Korea, Iran, right, would be the ones. But now we sided with all of them somehow. But that would be ones where the president can make an executive decision to place a tariff. If you're just placing tariffs on allies, Canada, Mexico, really, that technically should have to go through Congress. Now, if you declare it an emergency by saying, hey, we have an emergent drug crisis at the north border, when we have sent last year 10 times more drugs from the U.S. to Canada than Canada sent to the U.S., doesn't really seem like a actual issue.
No.
And then you also have, the stuff in Mexico, which I kind of agree with, placing, cartels as FTOs, right? Foreign terrorist organizations.
Yes.
I agree with it, but that's where you can get around the fucking tariff things. Okay, they got all these terrorist organizations at our border, in our country, bringing people across, bringing drugs across. Sure, but that's an easier one to sell than Canada. Like, there's zero reason that we should have any tariffs on Canada, and that Canada should have any tariffs on us, because they do have tariffs that are very high percentages on the U.S.
Yeah, ever since Trump got into office, I've always been kind of curious, if there have been lingering tariffs on the United States already by other countries that we just don't know about, and then if this is kind of like a revenge move on our part or Trump's part by putting tariffs on other countries. Like, I honestly have no idea, because growing up, I think during Bill Clinton administration, like he took away tariffs on countries that we had tariffs on at one point, and then
he had some of the lowest national debt too.
Right, because we had the New Deal with Bill Clinton, right? Was it the New Deal?
The New
Deal
was way
was
earlier.
Jimmy Carter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was no? Oh, no. It was goodness gracious. It'll come to me later on. I'm on a delay.
Yeah, I don't know what one that would be, but I do know that he had the lowest national debt.
Yeah.
Did a lot of really good things for that.
Yeah.
A couple other things that I want to hit on in this political episode. Just a
So
couple of
we got time.
fact checks. Transgender mice?
Oh, yeah.
You see,
No, actually, it was transgenic mice. So that's used to study diseases.
you mean like viruses?
and viruses?
Wow.
And genetic diseases, things like cancer research.
So, was that just a typo somewhere, or did?
No, that's probably people not fucking reading.
So-
They see trans in something.
So
and
he
are
said
"Oh."
he said $8 million to UC, so University of Cincinnati, to study transgender mice. So
Oh my goodness.
They're turning the mice gay.
University
Well, no, the opposite sex.
So University of Cincinnati did receive an $8 million grant, but that was for transgenic mice research.
Very good.
Yeah, so
Oh wow.
disease and whatnot.
That's crazy.
I'm surprised they haven't let Bobby in there yet.
Yeah.
Well, all the seed oils are turning the mice into women.
Well, there was the Social Security thing that you sent me.
Yeah,
That
so
fact checked?
but that's been for a while. I think we talked about that before potentially, where the Social Security thing of there's 3 million people from the ages of 120 to 129 or whatever is a system error, and I forget what the name of the actual program is, but it's a coding issue where if there are certain numbers or line items that do not match what the new software is, it defaults the person's birth date till 1860 or something. It's one of those weird things. And if any person out there is saying, "Oh, I don't buy it," I'm sure fucking January or December 31st, 1999, you were freaking out, unplugging your microwave and shit.
Yep.
Because, it's going to roll over. We're not going to be able to find where the zero is. Shit happens with programming languages, right? Even if it's the same language, if someone does something different, if they update something, it's going to fuck up. Should they do something maybe where every year we just audit 25% of the recipients to make sure they're alive?
Yeah.
Sure. That's probably not going to cost a lot. And I'm sure there are people for Social Security, disability, the VA. There's probably people that are dead and their family or whoever is still just collecting that check.
Right.
I'm not going to say that it doesn't happen, because it most likely does.
Right.
Does it happen to a scale of millions of people? No.
Yeah, I was trying to find the article on my phone. I don't know if I saved it, but these are just rough numbers that I'm throwing out there. Social Security spends, I think, about $8 trillion a year, and then I forgot what the number was for the
COBOL is the system. COBOL.
for the overpayments or for like the mispayments accounted for less than 1% of the Social Security budget. So
right.
Yes, is 1% of 8 trillion a lot? Of course.
Sure.
Should it be fixed? Yes. Like it's still waste, fraud, and abuse. It's still money.
That's the thing. I think a lot of people want to do it.
The problem is it's not as much as he said during his address to Congress. So
Right.
that's the thing. It's
That was a zero fact check, just running numbers. And in the beginning, you're like, holy shit, right? Until for like, I didn't know about the COBOL thing in the beginning. And initially, when I heard it, I was like, holy fuck, dude! Like, are you like? Because I could see the government dropping the fucking ball, dude, and just taking it out.
I mean, these are real accusations that are costing a lot of people jobs right now.
But I think, and what sucks is there's a lot of people that I'm sure, mostly everyone, I would assume, there's probably a very few people that don't want this.
Mm-hmm.
But for taking a lot of the waste, fraud, and abuse out of government, probably a lot of people want that.
yes.
There's a way to do things, and there's a way not to do things.
Sure.
And right now, we're going in the fucking wrecking everything in the room to, like, get a new table inside versus just taking the table out and putting a new one in.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think that it's the problem. And again, it's like one of those main things where I think both sides of the aisle can come together and be like, okay, we're going to get rid of all, like, waste and stuff. But we need to find out what every organization does.
Right.
Because if you don't know what an organization does and you're like, oh, well, fuck them. Because, like, USAID, right, everybody was on that, oh, we're fucking doing all this shit for other countries. Is there some stuff that USAID was doing that we probably don't need to do, like transgender studies and fucking, wherever in fucking Asia?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need to do that.
Yeah.
But the reason that we don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff, like viral-wise and bacteria-wise, that other countries have to deal with is because USAID knows it's fucking happening.
Yeah.
And they can contain it in whatever fucking country it's happening in. So I wouldn't say that we should get rid of it, where they gave everybody 15 minutes to get all their shit out of their office and leave.
Just fix the waste, fraud, and abuse.
Just find the part that, okay, cool, we were sending $8 million to trans studies in fucking, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get rid of that.
Take a microscope to the agency.
Yeah.
And pluck out the departments that are a waste.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I don't think you would have any honest person going against that. I don't see that.
Absolutely. I thought that, when Elon Musk started this, that I thought it was a good idea at the start. Like, you have someone
It is a good
outside.
idea, not the way they're doing it.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
I thought that it should have started at the state level rather than the federal level. Because you need to work your way up. Start from the bottom.
I almost think that you would need to work its way down.
It would have to
Okay.
work its way down. So, like,
I totally see where you're coming from, though. But
I've worked municipal, state, and now federal, and you would have to start at the top because that's like the only thing trickle down wise that
economics
works is exactly trickle down economics doesn't work for people. It works for agencies and entities in the government.
Right. So, like, well, my biggest thing is, like, lessons learned. So, I mean, like, we're starting at a level where, like, we're talking about big dollars. Like, probably the most money that anyone spends in the entire world. Like,
Okay.
at the government level. So, I mean, like, for me, it would be, like, start from the bottom. Like, work your way up through municipality, right? Because, I mean, I understand Elon Musk is a big deal.
Right, but where
Like,
does funding come from? It comes from the federal government to the state
Exactly.
to whatever. So if you start with the federal government and are like, okay, how much money are we sending to each place? If everywhere is getting sent pretty much the same amount of money based on population, and some other place is like, oh, wow, they have the same population as this place, but they're getting 20 billion more.
Mm-hmm.
Why are they getting 20 billion more?
Sure. But, like,
and then look over there.
Like, for me, like, it would be, like, start in a well-populated town. Like, you're just trying to get your feet wet. You're trying to get your toes in the water. So, like, my biggest thing is that they literally went from 0 to 100. Like, I mean, like, Drake probably said it better real fast. So, I mean, like, they're laying off hundreds of thousands of people right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, that's a big deal. Like, Elon Musk is going into this. I mean, this guy started up Tesla and SpaceX. What does he know about the government? Like, that's been my
What
biggest
he
thing
does
for a long
know,
time.
what he does know, and I don't think people give him a lot of credit for, he is doing things, especially with SpaceX, that NASA never dreamed of.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you catch a fucking rocket with, like, essentially, like, chopsticks,
yeah,
and are able to reuse it, you know, granted they need to repair shit and fix things and whatever, and now they're trying to figure out how to reuse every part of the rocket. So right now, the only thing that they're trying to figure out is when the rocket goes into reentry, they have those ceramic tiles. And this is from, I listened to the Joe Rogan one where he did Elon Musk recently from today. So today's the 7th of April. So the most previous one with Elon Musk. He was explaining that the tiles that they put on these things when they re-enter, there's a gap between all of them. Because if there's not, it's going to just shatter because they expand, like, I think they said like 20% of their initial volume. So they're trying to figure out how can we reuse that part? Because right now they can't, because it comes back and it's fucking torched.
Right.
So if they can make something that is able to withstand that, he's aiming to reuse 100% of the rocket minus fuel.
Right.
Which NASA never could fucking dream of, because unless there was people in it, mostly, right, the shit wasn't coming back.
Right.
It was just going to burn up in the fucking atmosphere.
But something that people don't understand about NASA was that NASA was a private entity to start with. It's
SpaceX.
Right. I mean, like...
So if he can do it,
sure.
Why couldn't fucking NASA with all their funding from the government? He's not getting funding from the government.
Of course.
Now he's getting, like, contracts and shit. But he put a bunch of satellites into space that give, like, you know, internet. Nobody gave a shit when he was, like, giving internet to Ukraine in the start of the fucking conflict.
I'm not saying that Elon Musk is, you know, someone that we shouldn't trifle with. You know,
no, we should trifle with him. We should 100% trifle with him.
Like,
but I don't like when people continuously shit on him.
Absolutely. He's a brilliant person. But,
right.
like, I mean, I was watching an interview a while back, and he was talking about, or someone else was talking about, like, he would get so stressed out. Like, you would not know that he was stressed out. But I think it was when they were trying to release the first models of Teslas. They had an issue at the beginning, and he wouldn't leave the office. So he would be like,
there.
Yep, he'd sleep underneath his desk.
Well, they said, so when they were doing the SpaceX launches, I want to say that they did 3. And on the third one, the thing blew up again. And they had enough supplies and money to do one more rocket. That was it. Like, there was, if this thing blew up on the pad or whatever, like that, they're done because they don't have anything else. And it worked. And he was like, up until that moment, there was no out. He's like, because what am I going to do? Not continue to work on this thing?
Right.
He's like, because if you just give up on it, like, it failed anyway. He's like, so I'd rather just spend the money and see if it works. And luckily it did, because the amount of stuff, I mean, they're trying to get those astronauts back that are on the fucking International Space Station for fucking months.
8 months.
Big fuck up by NASA for sure.
Yeah.
But, like, luckily, SpaceX has docked with the International Space Station before. So all of that infrastructure is already there. So they just need to send a rocket up, connect it, be able to get these people over, make sure that, like, life support shit is brought down.
Yeah.
And SpaceX, I'm pretty sure, has done, like, human travel as well. So they have that aspect of it as well. It's not like they're just sending parts up, because there are places where, they'll go to space, but they're just sending a rocket with parts to the space station.
Yeah.
Where if it blows up, it sucks, but nobody died.
Yeah.
So there's that part too. We're like, okay, cool, he can help. And if somebody can help with something like that, great, let's do it. But I don't think that just trashing him because he's Elon Musk does anything for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, and it's sad because, like I said, I had high hopes for a lot of this. Was that, you know, we had someone outside the government checking the government. I love that. Like, I'm not a libertarian, but I am unbiased. I'm right in the middle, and I love when someone that has the ability to say or stand up to the government, or has the ability or the position to possibly stand up to the government, to be able to say, like, hey, you know what?
You need a group.
Yeah.
You can't have one guy.
You can't.
If they said, look, and I'm not saying, take fucking Musk, Bezos and Zuck. I'm not saying that. But
Please, Philip, God.
if you have a group of people, right, and you say, hey, we're going to look through all this stuff, and we're going to go, even you don't even need to go necessarily department by department. Go agency by agency and delegate that shit.
Yes, because
and be like, hey, I want a breakdown, frickin' of all these, the heads of all DOD entities. I want that. Any intelligence entities, you're going to bring all of your shit to Tulsi.
Yes.
Of how much money do you get and where is this money going?
Yes.
And then if we have a question of, hey, you have, 5% of your funding you just had as unidentified. Well, is it just saved up in case you need to do something, or is it going to some other program? Is there a program we have questions about that we can get more into? Is this an actual thing or just whatever?
Yeah.
There's ways to do it, and I just feel like they really botched it.
They did, because this is a courtesy. I mean, it's something I've talked about for my entire life, but from all the way to the top, from where Trump's at to our mayor, they are public servants. They are here to serve the U.S. people. Yeah. That's it. They are servants. That should be like a highlight.
I think there's a famous quote that I really disagree with. However, our parents' generation agrees with it. I don't know if you guys will agree. I don't know how you guys feel. Anyway, the quote
libertarian.
It's
mostly.
Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
JFK, and then he got shot.
I actually think it should be backwards. The politicians are servants.
Yes.
They should be serving the people.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying, there is pride in doing things for your country.
Sure.
Like, I 100% agree with that. There's, that quote should not be, a driving force of how the government works.
No,
it's
absolutely not.
For the people.
Yes, because I think that those people that are elected into office, I'm fairly certain that their contracts that for their obligation of service are just like ours when we join the military. It's the same sworn in, and then on top of that, their responsibilities are the same as ours. They are serving our country in a different method, different ways, but they believe that most of them or some of them believe that they're held to higher standards, and that they're the top of the food chain when it comes to the federal level for employment. But it's wrong because they're going to be out, in so many terms. But
but it doesn't matter. Then they'll just have because they'll have full retirement regardless.
Oh my gosh,
that could be a whole other episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that could be a whole thing.
It should be, because I feel like that I think that maybe during the 90s,
you got to move closer, my guy.
Man.
You got to move closer.
I'm trying. I think that our government, in ways that a lot of people haven't noticed, have failed us, and they've done good things for us. But I think over time, you can go through a list and see how the government has truly failed us, and that they have held themselves to a standard. They put themselves on a pedestal, and that that we have to have a government. We have to have it, and I believe that the United States has the best type of government. We have the best constitution in the entire world, but we need to go back just a little bit and just kind of look at things a little
differently. I think there's a couple things, and there's probably more, but a couple things on my mind is term limits.
Yes.
Right? Because you can't be a public servant for 50 years. It doesn't work that way. Because at that point, you're in it for you, because who the fuck wants to work for 50 years? And then also
Bernie.
Well, you know what?
Feinstein.
Bernie. Well, fine. Dude,
I'll give Bernie props.
Dead. I'll give Bernie props. I don't agree with everything the guy says.
Yeah.
But he never.
That man has said the same exact fucking thing forever.
Yep.
Forever, dude. Until he was from when he was getting arrested on a college campus until today.
Yeah.
He has said the same fucking thing over and over again.
What did he say? You can do this impression.
We need to abolish the flat tax on the U.S. citizens. We need to go through. We need to get rid of all these people in Congress. We need to put a term limit of 4 years and then an additional 2 if they get re-voted in. We'll have elections every 2 years offset from the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I do this a lot.
I think that could be a wrap.
Yeah. Because we're at 57 minutes after the fuck up.
Yeah.
So really, we're at like an hour and a half.
Oof.
Yeah. Big
right.
L.
You had
Big
a
L.
guest We had our guests, Trump and Bernie.
Yeah, thank
And
you for coming.
RFK.
And RFK.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I'm going to go back to find out what's in the Fruit Loops. Yeah.
Red 40.
Yeah, Red 40, we'll do that. And then we'll go through. We'll probably smash this fucking bottle, and then we'll come back. We'll see you for the next one.
All right.
Hubba hubba.